A group of friends were celebrating an Ellis's birthday in the countryside around a fire and talking. Then they decide to explore the house that they rented and go down to the basement where there were antiques. Buckster finds a deck of cards with signs of the zodiac and offers to play fortune-telling, and everyone agrees. They turn off the lights to create an atmosphere for their game. They did not even imagine that they were about to open the door of horror. As soon as Helly opened the box of cards, a wind of evil blew through the room. Helly felt a sense of displeasure and closed the box. But his friends tried to convince him to start the game and that it was just a game. No matter how hard Helly tries to talk her friends out of it, it doesn't help. Helly starts the game. She tells everyone's fate with cards, including hers, thus ending the game. Every friend talks about it, but unfortunately they don't take it seriously. Helly begins to tell each of his friends his fate. They were very happy that they were having a great time. In the next morning they left the house and went back to their home and split up. They weren't aware of danger that they were in. The first victim of their game was Elise. After she had a bath, she goes back to her room and notices a ladder to the attic, but there was nobody except her. She just closes it, goes to her room. Lying on the bed talking with her friend, Elise felt something unpleasant. The room and corridor were slowly getting dark. While she was talking to her friend, somebody knocked on her door. When she opened it, nobody was there again, but the ladder that she put back was open. Elise began to walk slowly up the corridor. Behind him stood some kind of creature. Elise felt it and turned on the light and looked. Elise thought her friends were playing a prank on her and started calling them, but no one answered. Elise decided to go up the stairs and check it. Once upstairs, Elise saw a tarot card from the vacation house. Suddenly, she saw a witch coming from hell to take her heart and fell down the stairs. When she wakes up, she sees that her friend is calling. She tries to answer the call, but the witch starts beating him to death with a ladder. When her friends found out about her death, they were shocked and didn't know what to do, but accepted it as an unfortunate situation. It's midnight. All friends are saying goodbye to each other. Then Lucas decided to follow his girlfriend. The young lovers once again expressed deep sympathy for each other. Little did Lucas' girlfriend know that this would be the last time she would see Lucas alive. Lucas decides to leave the subway, but unfortunately, it was his big mistake. As soon as Lucas entered the subway, strange things began to happen. Lucas knew that he was the next victim, and he ran away. A demon-like ghost with a lantern in its hand was stalking the young man. The creature continues to chase the guy. Lucas hides the old train inside. The mystical ghost continued to haunt Lucas. Suddenly, when Lucas tried to run away from him, a train coming from the other direction ran over Lucas. All friends who are alive are sitting in the room with a criminal investigator who was surveying them. However, the guys did not know anything, so the investigator let them go. When they were at Helly's place, they were discussing who could have killed their friends. The friends argued about who the killer was. The discussion went on for too long. Suddenly, Helly realized that it might be because of a game they played. She starts to Google it and finds information about the game and a woman's address who knew what was going on. Friends go to astronomer and medium Alma Astrom. Mrs. Astrom tries to drive them away, but Helly asks for help and tells them everything that happened. Mrs. Astrom tries to help as much as she can. Mrs. Astrom retells the story of the cursed tarot to Helly and her friends. After killing a witch's daughter, she revealed that she combined her soul and tarot cards to take revenge on her enemies, using black magic to do so. Helly asked Ms. Astrom what to do next. Mrs. Astrom said that you can only survive if you crush the tarot card. The friends set off again. They argued again in the car. When the car reached the bridge, it suddenly turned off. The silence of evil filled the surroundings. Madeline realized she was next. He started to panic while sitting in the car. A whisper of evil made it worse. Madeline got out of the car in fear and started to run away. Helly ran after him to calm him down. Then the friends sitting in the car noticed that some kind of wild creature was coming. The creature broke the window of the car and chased Madeline with a rope. The creature catches up to Madeline and pulls her up with a noose around her neck. Helly and her friends run away in fear, realizing they can't help Madeline. They argued again and realized that they had to crush the tarot cards. But unfortunately, Buxton said that he could not join them and went to the dormitory. As Buxton approached the dormitory, he sensed evil approaching. When he was standing near the door of the dormitory in the dark, he noticed the clown behind him. Buxton was frightened and ran to the elevator to hurry to his room. Strange things started happening in the elevator. When he reached the 5th floor, the elevator stopped and all the lights went out. All kinds of scary whispers and laughter scared Buxton even more. Overnight began to walk towards Buxton, the clown he had seen earlier. The clown suddenly attacked Buxton. Poor Spider-Man's friend is alone in an elevator with an evil clown. The story continued with the friends riding to crush the tarot cards again. They called Buxton a lot, but Spider-Man's friend didn't answer them. Padge, Grant, and Helly, they decide to destroy the cards and go back to the mansion where they found them. Turning on the lights, they began searching the basement for the cursed tarot cards. They Googled and found ways to get rid of the damn thing. They decided to burn the cursed tarot cards. Fire was burning in the fireplace. Helly started throwing tarot cards into the fire. Unfortunately, their plans were not the same. The cursed tarot cards didn't burn. The confused friends decide to ask Mrs. Astrom for help. Mrs. Astrom organizes a special ceremony to solve the problem. The ceremony begins. Everything was going well. But the witch is very strong and evil. The witch immediately took control of the situation and showed Mrs. Astrom a prediction of death through tarot cards. At that moment, Mrs. Astrom was dragged away by the black ghosts. Friends panic and start running away. They are running along the corridor in another part of the house. Then Paige looked at the seemingly safe basement and decided to leave his friends and go down there. But unfortunately, as soon as he descended into the basement, the cruel darkness covered the whole place. As Paige fled across the room, a dark whisper reminded him through a tarot card that he would die at the hands of a sorcerer. The show has begun. All the ghosts applauded the wizard. Paige was scared and tried to run backstage. But the sorcerer chained his legs in one fell swoop. Paige did not give up and creep and hid inside a crate. But the magician dragged the box to the front of the stage and started sawing. Paige started running away from the chainsaw inside the crate. But the sorcerer pulled Paige's chain from his leg and started the saw in the middle of the chest, cutting Paige in two. Helly had an idea that could destroy tarot cards. With the help of tarot cards, Helly was trying to cast a spell on the witch herself. They started moving. They fought hard to get to the room where the tarot cards were. In the first attempt, Helly was resisted by an evil ghost. In the second attempt, the evil creature captured Helly. Fortunately, Helly was saved by Grant. Grant told him to protect Helly and Helly to go and carry out his plan. Helly ran into the room and took the cards and began to tell the fortune of the witch. Then the evil forces began to drag Grant into the fire. Helly reminded the witch of everything and then showed her the death card, which means it's all over. At that moment, the demonic soldiers started looting the witch woman from all sides. In the end, the darkness dragged the witch into its trap. After it was all over, Helly and Grant were walking alone on the road when the black car that Helly had predicted started to hit her.